Howdy, howdy, y'all. It is another I Am That episode. Chapter 99, y'all. 99. The perceived cannot be the perceiver. The perceived cannot be the perceiver. So, this chapter, first of all, wow, 99, crazy. Whew, it's been quite the journey, folks, but we're still going through it. Just a few more chapters, and this one, yeah, I mean, in terms of the substance, it's, like I say, these are all pretty similar. Really good additional, hitting. I've been using the hammer metaphor this entire time, hitting the nail in the head. And once again, this is another chapter that does that. Just he's hitting, trying to further, once again, reinforce these ideas through a very powerful conversation. He definitely kind of sees. He definitely. I don't know how these words definitely impacted this questioner deeply. You can tell because at the very beginning he talks about, I just kind of grow tired of seeking truth, and I'm actually kind of content and just blah blah blah. But then throughout it, eventually he says at one point, I find being alive a painful state. That doesn't sound like contentment to me, my guy. So I just kind of found that funny that throughout this chapter he definitely breaks this questioner down a little bit in that regard. Kind of is very good about seeing through the BS. Like these people just lie to themselves. Again, that's kind of part of the human condition. A lot of times we like to lie to ourselves, make stories about ourselves, and in fact, there's one point that just one quote. Even though he's really talking to this guy, I feel like it really just applies to all of humanity, even myself. This applies to all of us. This is one of the biggest things that we just do as people. So the questioner starts out with saying, "Well, I admit that I was, and I shall be, at least from birth to death. I have no doubts of my being here and now, but I find that it is not enough. My life lacks joy, born of harmony between the inner and the outer. If I alone am, and the world is merely a projection, then why is there disharmony?" And just this response, this is how I've been feeling a lot lately, just towards humanity and towards myself too, especially even towards myself too at times. You create this harmony and then complain. When you desire and fear and identify yourself with your feelings, you create sorrow and bondage. When you create with love and wisdom and remain unattached to your creations, the result is harmony and peace. But whatever be the condition of your mind, in what way does it reflect on you? It is only self-identification with your mind that makes you happy or unhappy. Rebel against your slavery to your mind. See your bonds as self-created and break the chains of detachment and revulsion. Keep in mind your goal of freedom until it dawns on you that you are already free. That freedom is not something in the distant future to be earned with painful efforts, but person one's own to be used. Liberation is not an accusation, but a matter of courage. The courage to believe that you are free already and to act on it. It's very powerful. He's just like, you are free. You already have harmony. You have these things. You are the one creating this harmony. You're the one, and then complaining about it. You're the one creating the mess and then being like, why is it so messy here? Why is this all this junk and everything here? Because you're the one that made the junk happen. I just been feeling that way with just humanity and whatnot in general. So when I just felt, especially that first part, and then even when he goes on to say, when you create with love and wisdom and remain unattached to your creations, the result is harmony and peace. That's such a powerful statement. Think about that. I'm not personally a parent, but you can definitely tell. I think just even from the outside in, you could tell the parent children relationships when the parents are much more unattached in what their children are doing, as far as like, as long as they're happy and within decent morals, obviously, like that. There's a much more there's a much more positive thing going on there, as opposed to the parent that's like, oh, you're going to do this thing, you're going to make me proud, and blah blah blah. Like, that's, yeah, we already know, we know how that typically ends. So like, that's even like an example like that, of just when you can create with, just love and compassion and for its own sake, essentially. So that's was like one of my favorite parts to read. I'm trying, like I said, it's getting very difficult a lot of times. Like, 'cause it's not that the chapters themselves are bad. It's just the concepts have been gone over so many times. I don't want to just keep repeating him, quoting essentially him saying the same thing as before. So I'm trying to, but I still obviously want to review these chapters. I mean, that's the whole point of this thing. But this chapter, like I say, he does a good job once again showing, like, hey, you're not your memories, you're not this, you're not that. And that's kind of the point of this, because I think I remember a chapter before talking about how, it was like, you're not, the knower and the known, like you, and all that stuff. It's the same idea, but, with perception and being the perceiver. And like I said, this conversation, and like, I do find it funny of just the turn the person, it's just from, like, like I said at the very beginning, like he says, I have been moving from place to place investigating the various yogas available for practice. I cannot decide which will suit me best. I should be thankful for some competent advice. At present, as a result of all this searching, I am just tired of the idea of finding truth. It seems to me both unnecessary and troublesome. Life is enjoyable as it is, and I see no purpose in improving on it. And so that's like how he starts. That's like the very first thing that's said. And it's very interesting that he, like I said later, by the time he's like, I find being alive a painful state, just like a few pages later, and just from there, yeah, he goes, yeah, down. I do find it's funny. So at one point, the questioner says this: I can only investigate the mind with the mind. Maharaj, by all means, use your mind to know your mind. It is perfectly legitimate and also the best preparation for going beyond the mind. Being, knowing, and enjoying is your own. First, realize your own being. This is easy because the sense I am is always with you. Then meet yourself as the knower, apart from the known. Once you know yourself as pure being, the ecstasy of freedom is your own. And I do like, and then this is one of those like face smack moments for me. Kind of, because, I mean, yeah, it is just because I know how Maharaj would have responded, and he does essentially respond in a certain way that I would have predicted. But because then the question just goes straight to, which yoga is this? And if you know how Maharaj is, Nisargadatta, he just is kind of like, who cares? Essentially, like, that's not important. That's missing the whole point. And that's exactly Maharaj. Why worry? What makes you come here is your being displeased with your life as you know it, the life of your body and mind. You may try to improve them through controlling and bending them to an ideal, or you may cut the knot of self-identification altogether and look at your body and mind as something that happens without committing you in any way. And then he keeps, of course, going on. Shall I call the questioner? Shall I call the control and discipline Raja Yoga, and the way of detachment Guna Yoga, and the worship of an idea Bhakti Yoga? Maharaj, if it pleases you, words indicate but do not explain. What I teach is the ancient and simple way of liberation through understanding. Understand your own mind, and its hold on you will snap. Understand the mind misunderstands. Misunderstanding is its very nature. Right understanding is the only remedy. Whatever name you give it, it is the earliest and also the latest, for it deals with the mind as it is. Nothing you do will change you, for you need no change. You may change your mind or your body, but it is always something external to you that has changed, not yourself. Why bother at all to change? Realize once and for all that neither your body nor your mind nor even your consciousness is yourself, and stand alone in your true nature beyond consciousness and unconsciousness. No effort can take you there, only the clarity of understanding. Trace your misunderstandings and abandon them, that is all. There is nothing to seek and find, where there is nothing lost. Relax and watch the I am. Reality is just behind it. Keep quiet, keep silent. It will emerge, or rather, it will take you in. Right? Like, I just love that. He just keeps asking. I find it funny when especially when they get very label obsessed. And they're like, oh, what about this? Call it this. And it's like, you're missing. As soon as you get into like these whole like trying to categorize the stuff in the first place, you're missing the point. This is like stuff. This things that are being talked about are things beyond the mind, the body, and even descriptions itself. These are things that are like only understood by really experience firsthand. And it's like he says, even in this chapter, yeah, you can use the mind to help, to understand the mind, and this can help prepare for going beyond the mind. But that's really about it. That's what these are. These are like tools to, remind ourselves what we are at the end of the day. So I'm going to leave it with the last, maybe, yeah, just a little bit of the last little bit of a back and forth in this chapter, because I found it really interesting, the wording and everything. So, questioner asks, what comes first, abandoning of the mind or self-realization? Maharaj, self-realization definitely comes first. The mind cannot go beyond itself, by itself. It must explode. That was like explode. Maybe it's like a typo. It must mean like explore or something like that. But no, question is, no exploration before explosion? Maharaj, the explosive power comes from the real, but you are well advised to have your mind ready for it. Fear can always delay it until another opportunity arises. Questioner, I thought there was always a chance. Maharaj, in theory, yes. In practice, a situation must arise. When all the factors necessary for self-realization are present, this need not discourage you, for dwelling on the fact of I am will soon create another chance, for attitude attracts opportunity. All you know is second-hand. Only I am is first-hand and needs no proofs. Stay with it. So, like I said, even Maharaj, in theory, they just a lot of it can be fake. There's situational, but if you have the right mentality, if you have the right figure of it, and of your if you're self-realizing, or essentially it seems like, yeah, if all the ingredients are there, that spark is going to eventually happen, that flame is going to eventually happen. That's essentially, I feel a way you can use a metaphor to understand what he's trying to say there. It's like he's essentially like, yeah, in theory, yeah, it is, the opportunity is always there, and especially if you have all the ingredients there. But in practice, you're going to have to wait for that little spark, that snap, that moment, to change it. Yeah, for that change, for that for that self-realization. So, I think on that note, yeah, On that note, I'm going to leave it, y'all. Chapter 99. We're getting there. We're almost there. So I just want to say namaste, and I hope peace upon you all, and just have a good one, y'all. Have a good one. Peace.